Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom. I am a full-time eBay reseller and I am a stay-at-home dad for my 5 kids. This video is going to be a little bit different because holy cow did I hit a lick on a bolo, and I know I left money on the table, but these sold so high and so quick that I'm excited whether or not I made all of the money. I'm sure people are going to tell me, holy cow, you sold those so cheap, I can't believe. But if you've been with the channel a while, you know how I roll. So I spent $60 the other day with a guy who had this mask, and I show up to pick it up and I'm just kind of poking around. I was like, what about these other masks? And he's like, give me $50 for the whole box. Not knowing what I had exactly in my hand and pulling out a bunch of like cheap stuff, I was like, well, how about 40 bucks? And he said, fine. Had I known what it was, I would have not negotiated down. I actually thought about sending him some more money and being like, hey, I made more money than either of us expected me to. It's somebody that I deal with a lot back and forth, and I like to keep a good relationship, and I don't want to knock the guy's price down and then make crazy money. I made probably $700 or $800. On this deal. So I was picking through these masks and I was coming up with stuff like this. Frankenstein cartoony, Frankenstein cheapy, like this neat looking mummy girl. I guess in my head, I guess maybe it's the headdress that makes me think that it's like a bride woman zombie witch thing. And so when he's said 50 bucks, I was like, let me do 40. And because these things are not money makers. Turns out that lot, I think that's the whole lot, sold for 25 bucks. There's a couple more. There's this and this. So that lot sold for $25. There was a handful of throwaway things, but then there were masks that you probably aren't familiar with. I wasn't familiar with. Maybe you are. Maybe when I made the thumbnail and the title, that's what drew you to this, because you're like, hey, I love Don Post and Distortion Unlimited stuff, and I want to come see what this guy has. Welcome to the channel. I'm a reseller. I buy things, I flip them, I get excited about them, especially when it's stuff like this. This is art, man. This is beautiful. You guys saw the first thing that sold out of this was these hands, and they were just a beautiful sculpt. They said Topstone as the name brand on them, and they sold for 45 in hours. So I probably had them at the bottom of the market. I remember I paid, including the Star Wars mask, I paid $60 for everything. I paid $40 for everything you're going to see here, including the hands that sold for 45 already. This is Hydra by Distortion Unlimited, and then you can't make it out on here. It's hard to make out in person, but it says 1985. And so I had no idea. Google Lens was no help with this. It's a vinyl mask. It kind of feels like latex, but vinyl and latex are different enough that it makes a difference. This one's gonna be around a long time. It's not going to deteriorate the way that a latex mask would. A lot of detail on this. You can see here where there is some residue from old hair. He would have had some hair. And so I typed in Distortion Unlimited 1985 and I just start looking through images, and then I see this catalog. And I notice a creature that looks very similar to this. So I started doing a little bit of research. I looked and searched and hunted, and I couldn't find a sale for that. So then I looked for the other Distortion Unlimited things from the 80s, and they seem to sell somewhere short of 200 bucks. So I put $169 plus shipping on that one, and I pulled this one up. And this one, you can't really make out, even in person. There's this stamp, but it really just, even in person, it's just muddled enough that you can't really tell what it says. This is But when I found that Distortion Unlimited from that one, I continued just digging, trying to figure it out. And I'm not spending hours. You guys know, I'm not going to spend hours researching something. I'm going to put a price on it. I'm going to let it sell. I'm going to make the money, and I'm going to move on. But this guy came up on another Distortion Unlimited catalog. And so they're from the same year, the same company. This one is from, I think, Shadow was the line. And I'll put the image up here. The other one was from Twilight. And so they are definitely super good, crazy pieces that you need to keep an eye out for. These are Distortion Unlimited, and they are just beautiful sculpts and in not great shape. They need cleaned up. This guy has the hair left on him. That guy would have had similar, just like patchy mess hair. I think he probably would have had less. But beautiful, beautiful, crazy masks that just, you're not going to find something like this kind of quality. And at $169 a piece, I think my buyers are going to be pretty happy with those. These gloves, I know I undervalued them on purpose. They are latex and they are stiff pancakes. They're supposed to be 3-finger, like alien looking gloves, but they are, they're so stiff that you couldn't get your hands into them. And Levi and I made a video where we put hot water on them and we massaged them, but they just went straight back to being hard. So I think basically I just listed them so that someone who knows what they're doing would buy them for $10 and they would take care of them and make them something. This guy I listed for $90 and he sold in a hurry. It appears to me to be a Don Post style mask just from some of the earmarks. And I don't know if it is a Don Post. I don't know how to find out because it's not marked at all. And I couldn't find any similar to it. But it's a cool, highly detailed vinyl mask, probably from the middle 80s. Very cool piece. Vintage Halloween stuff is masks. Like, there's some 90s stuff. There's like this ghost face mask from Easter Unlimited, but not really high dollar stuff in that 90s where you'd want your t-shirts and your hats to be like 90s. 70s, 80s are really good on this old mask stuff. This is the piece de resistance. I listed him for $250. It is a Nosferatu, which I just recognized the character because the sculpt is so good. And then it says, let me see if I can make it to where you guys can see that. Don Post, right here. Don Post Studios. And there were sold comps for this over $200. I listed it for $250. And this is a blue-gray color. I couldn't find ones that were this blue-gray color. I could only find ones that were flesh toned, like this my coloring. I couldn't find any that were this blue-gray. I listed it for $250. Somebody sent me a $180 offer, and maybe I shouldn't have jumped at it, but I did. And so these masks, 4 masks, all sold all at once, and I ended up at almost $800 that day. So masks, man, vintage Halloween full head vinyl masks. And so I've been kind of just digging because it's fun. There's a whole community. I mean, there's a whole community around a lot of collectibles, but there are people who are just crazy passionate about this stuff. People who have, like, I have a bunch of boxes. They would just have this wall full of masks behind them talking about how cool this stuff is. And it's an exciting thing to get into. I have one more that I'm going to be able to grab since I've been doing the research and figuring out what I have. But I just wanted to show you guys these Don Post and Distortion Unlimited full head masks, vinyl and latex from the 70s and 80s. Don't pass them up. I sold them all for the right around just $200 shipped is where I was on all of them, and they all sold as fast as I could list them. So that's just something to keep in mind. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Let's get into the Goodwill trip with Evelyn from the other day. I have 37 items to ship out, including a bunch of masks. And so I'm going to shoot you another video now, but I wanted to touch on these masks before we did much of anything else. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one. So we just got these out of the case, $6. I don't think I'm going to get that. But these at $6 a piece I think are probably a get, but I'm going to find out for sure. I'm just I-spying some stuff. This is probably $20 because that's what they allow in. I don't think I want to mess with that, but this M audio might be good if they didn't overprice it. $5. Dude, I really like this. $5. It takes a couple of batteries, but
so I got this home and
when it spins,
batteries in it, and it doesn't work, which doesn't normally happen.
Oh, that's come loose. But so I haven't run comps on this yet, but I wanted to say, like, this is reasonably new, clean, $7, and it's Cuisinart and it has the manual. That's definitely the kind of thing I would run comps on. It's a tiny air fryer. Okay, so stuff we're getting, these are the same laundry baskets that we use, and they're $1.44. So when you have as many kids as I do, you can always use more laundry baskets. Abby pulled this book. No. This I think I'm getting for sure. It's pretty awesome. And then there are these ping pong balls. Become a mess all over my house, but the kids love them. The air fryer and the keyboard we're getting for sure, and some more Evelyn books. But these coffee table books I'm gonna have to run some comps on. This one is $6.50 free shipping, and it would be $1, so that's a no. Boy, I was hoping this one would be something, but it's not. It's the same deal. You could buy it for $6 or $7 free shipping. Let's try this one. And this one's only available for $12 plus shipping, but the only sold comp is like $6 plus shipping. It's not worth it because there's a bunch listed. Sell-through rate's super low. And a second Norman Rockwell, same story. Let's see if Hollywood Musicals by Ted Sinnett is any better. So this slipcover box set of old Conan Doyle, Arthur Conan Doyle, Sherlock Holmes paperbacks is probably going to be a really good thing. Okay, so I don't know anything really about these at all, except they're $5.99 and they're definitely vintage Adidas. If you look here, that is an old tag, and so you just have to see, but I'm going to get them, and I suspect they're really, really good. So I donated these things yesterday and they're out on the floor. I still don't know what this is. But there it is, not at Brooks auction or the back of my van, but instead on the shelf here. Oh, that's not something you see very often. A Plano tackle box, $3.79. And then when you open it up, it has tackle in it. And I know virtually nothing about fishing. And it doesn't look like there's anything in here great, but tackle box by itself might be worth something. So this thing is expensive, but it's just the remote and the charging base, but there's no power cord to plug in the charging base, and there's no receiver. So it's untested for parts at $5. I'm just not sure I can triple my money. Now if it plugged in, it would be $50 all day long. Well, this was on that brand new cart and I didn't even notice it. If it's cheap, it's a pickup for sure. Well, it's not, see, no, because it isn't a branded tool. It's not a McCullough or whatever. So at $5, this is probably a good pickup, but it's a little bit dirty. Obviously it's untested, and it has to come with a dedicated power cord that it doesn't include. And so I'd have to order that to even test it. I just know myself well enough to know that this is going from $5 in my pocket to $5 in my death pile for a long time. So I think I'm gonna leave it. Remember yesterday when there was a mid-century modern chair sitting here with that cushion on it? Somebody took the chair and left the cushion. And now Evie is sitting on a chair with 2 cushions, being a goofball. All right, let's go. These are another thing where it's like, maybe those, I probably would have picked those up a year ago. For $5, the sell-through, there are only 11 sold and there's 40 listed. They're a cool colorway and Air Force Ones do well, but I'm never gonna clean them, so I'm gonna list them as is, and I'm probably gonna get 20 bucks tops for them. So we're gonna pass. So we're getting these for resale, that for resale.
What did you say?
Man, there's not a lot for resale in here. This Fiesta brand, it's called a Bush. It's called the Bush Baby, evidently. 9-inch Bush Baby, and it is, there's 9 listed, there's 7 sold, and they're all about 20 bucks. And then I put the fryer back mostly because I'm like, that thing will take forever to clean and I just won't do it, and then I won't list it. This is more Calico Critters. And for a better man than I, this would be a good flip. $6 for the cat car and cat boys in there, and rubble machine, and a handful of skies. There's Sky down there, but I just wouldn't sell it. My kids would keep it, and it would, and they have too many. Say that again?
I have to keep it?
No. Are you already getting a calico boat?
Well,
Can I buy this and sell it if I buy you a calico boat?
I don't want the calico boat.
Yep, I'm a sucker. It's in the cart. She gets to pick one Sky car to keep, and then I'm going to flip the rest. I don't normally do this much shopping to keep this stuff, but I mean, you find good stuff one way or the other. And now it's raining and snowing at the same time. So don't forget we got those Sony Walkmans. So let's wrap this thing up. I'm really glad that I ended up putting back the things that I put back. I pulled a lot of things to put back. But looking at the comps and knowing my tendency to put things in the death pile to get to them eventually, it just doesn't make sense for me to buy a fryer or a piano, because I just won't get to them. So I think the shoes that I got, I never found a comp other than official game worn and signed by Dikembe Mutombo for $1,700 on that same model of shoe. And that one didn't help because it didn't call it whatever, like, you know, their Adidas Court Blast or whatever, you know, Nike Air Flights, you know, there isn't anything calling that a model. It's make and model. We know the year because it says 1996 inside, or 95 inside the label, and then they're Adidas, but I don't know the model. And so that would help a lot, but I can't figure it out. So I listed them anyway. And then, so the shoes, the Paw Patrol stuff, the clock I bought, but it didn't work. The Bush Baby we bought and is going to be a good flip, but the the Plano tackle box, when I turned it around, it had some like melt on the backside where somebody leaned it up against something, and it just wasn't in the kind of condition to make it worth selling as a collector thing. And it just didn't turn out to be a good pickup. And I don't know anything about fishing to know whether or not the stuff in the inside was good, but my suspicion is that it was not, because it was just like bobber floaters and hooks and not like the little hand-painted fish that lures that are something that people tend to collect. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you learned something. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I already have a video recorded. I just have to edit it, of my weekend sales that were 40 items going out the door this morning when I'm recording this. So you guys will see that tomorrow, and it'll be crazy. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.